Hi everybody, it's me again, Boo. And I have been so busy. I'm so sorry if I haven't gotten as many reviews up as I intended. But this is a crazy time of year for me, so I'm going to be lucky to get a couple a month up. So this is another You Pick review. I figured I was going to do a couple of Zerjovs, but you know, first day of spring and all coming up, and it's just in the air. It's getting warmer around here, and sorry, we have a school on the other side of us, so it's a little noisy, but who cares? So anyway, spring is in the air, so I thought I'd do something a little more springtime related. And for me, this house is mostly springtime perfumes, and that's L'Occitane. And this one is Magnolia and Mure. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but anyway. This is a wonderful spring and summer kind of a fragrance. Magnolia and Mure. The notes are rose, patchouli, bergamot, magnolia, and blackberry. Very simple. Usually L'Occitane doesn't go too extravagant with its notes. But the combo and the proportions that they put together I find really appealing. There's very few L'Occitanes that I dislike. I don't think I dislike any of theirs. Some that are meh, you know, no big deal. But then there's others that are extraordinary. And I think their price range is really reasonable as well. This one I got at the L'Occitane boutique in Kings Court on the Big Island. And I think it's like $70 or something like that, 65, $70 or something. This is one of their newer perfumes. And as anybody knows with L'Occitane, unless you have the Labdanum or the Immortelle or some of those, I think those are EDPs, not EDTs, the performance is on the moderate side. It's not going to be a beast as far as its longevity. And Raj is actually quite good for an EDT, I find, with L'Occitane. It's why it's one of my favorites. So anyway, this Magnolia and Mure, again, the notes are rose, patchouli, bergamot, magnolia, and blackberry. And on the top, you get this wonderful bergamot and blackberry combination. It's very fruity, but it's a very mature kind of fruity, not that musky fruity, you know, that you get with a lot of the younger fruity floral kind of perfumes. This one is much more mature. Think more of a young person's version of Enchanted Forest, that kind of a blackberry, not a sweet blackberry, but a very earthy, almost pine needle. You know, that blackberry can almost have that little touch of pine needle or something in it that I find quite appealing. And that's what this smells like. It's not a candied blackberry or a synthetic kind of a blackberry. I find it to be a very, you know, what's the word? Authentic. There it is. And in the top, you get that bergamot and blackberry. The mid notes, the magnolia and the rose join in. And it becomes just divine. I mean, it goes from wonderful to divine. Love it, love it, love it. Until the dry down. The dry down is when the patchouli kicks in. And I'm a huge patch fan. I love patchouli. But for some reason, in the proportion that it's in with this, all it does is it kind of flattens out all the other notes. And it kind of, on the deep dry down, just becomes kind of a boring, woody with a hint of florals in it. It's nothing spectacular at the dry down. The first 2 or 3 hours are fabulous. After that, which it only lasts about 6 hours, which is fine. I'm happy with that. Nowadays, I have enough perfumes and I'm quite happy with one that doesn't last, you know, 3 or 4 days. So 6 hours is great. Sillage on this starts off pretty good, you know, arm's length, little further maybe for an hour or two, and then it comes closer to the skin. The sillage, though, I find with L'Occitanes is much better than its projection, meaning the scent I leave behind always has an impression, and it always seems to be really good, even if I left that area you know, a minute before. I've had people walk into a room and say, oh, I knew you were in there. I could smell that perfume of yours. You know, it's so yummy or whatever. I've never had anybody say they hated it, any of the L'Occitans. So the sillage is quite good, because you know sillage just means wake of a boat in France, in French, and so it's just what you leave behind, whereas projection is when somebody's standing by you, how far away are they going to have to be before they stop smelling your perfume? That's more projection. Sometimes a perfume will project well, but it doesn't have great sillage, meaning that it stays with you. It's a very dense perfume, and it doesn't tend to break off and leave a little bit of itself everywhere that you go. I like a good sillage. I prefer sillage over projection, to be really honest with you, because I love the fact that people will walk into a room and, oh, Brenda must be here somewhere, without it being a beast. I mean, without it being offensive. It's just a hint of it with L'Occitane, but it is noticeable. Amber, the original Amber, used to do that all the time. People loved that perfume around here. So anyway, again, love the top, love the mid dry down. The deep dry down, though, not my favorite part of it, but I can always reapply. This, I think, would be, it's a little on the feminine side, but I do think the right kind of man could pull it off. The other thing is, I don't think it's dramatic enough for clubbing or anything. This is totally a wear to work, daytime activities kind of a perfume. I think is totally appropriate for it. So, and that's not true for all L'Occitans. I think that there's some that are really good for clubbing, like Amber, and another one that I'm going to talk about here in a little bit. So anyway, okay, I guess that's it, and I'll talk to you soon. All right.